Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to Crafters TV. My name's Ben Moseby. How are you? It's Wednesday and welcome to Masterclass. It's just gone 5 o'clock and we've been looking forward to this one all day because it is all about your backgrounds. We have got so many great deals on the show for you, from your Duet Colour Bloom ink pads to watercolour palettes to acrylic pencils, shimmer sprays, you name it, we've got it. Lots of great items that you can use to create amazing backgrounds. Now, we had a great show earlier on. We had a craft vault, which funnily enough had a lot of great items in it, which you could incorporate in a show like this. So, what we want over the course of this show is your interactivity. Masterclasses are those kind of shows where, we kind of have things ready to go, things lined up, but we'd rather you ask the questions. We'd rather you get your requests in so that you can get the very best out of this. So hopefully you've had a look at what we've got on the show. Ask questions. Get those requests in. Anything that you want to see, please ask. Anything you want to know, please ask. We are a blank canvas as far as the show is concerned. So the more questions, the better. I mean, we have prepped a little bit, obviously. I mean, if you don't come up with any questions or requests, we're not just going to stand here for 2 hours and go... So we'd rather you, came up with what you want to see on the show. And if you do comment during this show, we are giving away this beautiful stamp set from the Vintage Rose collection, just for asking a question, just for getting in touch, just for having a bit of fun with us. So, yeah, get in touch. We're basically celebrating Hug a Greeting Card Writer Day. That's what it is today. I tell you, there's a national day for everything. So the main question is, have you sent anyone a card recently? If you did, who was it? Who did you send a card to? What kind of design was the card? But as I say, ask those questions and we'll give that away at the end of the show. Craig is here, obviously, and I think he echoes what I've just said, really. Like you're quite happy to fill the 2 hours, but you'd rather fill it, wouldn't you, with requests and with questions from our lovely viewers.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. Can I just double check? It's National what?
It's National Hug a Greeting Card Writer Day. It's very specific.
Very specific, isn't
Yes.
it? Very, very specific. Well,
Yeah.
what you can be doing is you can then be making what I'm going to make, and then you can write in it and send it to the recipient. But absolutely, 100%. What I've done is I've got something prepped to start with, Ben, just to get us going. And yeah, I could easily fill the next 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours doing these sorts of techniques. But I don't actually want to use what I've got prepped underneath other than to start with, because I want to get you guys to let us know what do you want to see, and we'll do it using elements and components from this masterclass. So we've got a lot of sheen on, we've got colour blooms, we've got shimmer sprays, etc, etc. So we're going to get started with a few items from Sheena and the colour blooms, and then I'm going to throw back to Ben where he's going to take full control and letting me know what you guys want to see.
Yeah, so get the comments and questions in early, because obviously the sooner you comment, the sooner you ask a question, the quicker we'll be able to do it for you. And you know what will happen here is you'll wait until the end, and then about 20 other people will ask, and then we'll never get around to your question. So ask it now, and we'll get it done. Jan's on the socials today. Mary Johnson says, hello, everybody. Good morning to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Colleen says, hello from a sunny Florida. Hello. Hi also to Valerie. He says, good morning, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you. Mary Beth Dorr joins us from Minnesota. Joanne French says, hello from Arizona. I love learning new techniques. Is there a particular technique you'd like to learn? Let us know. Rita Jackson says, hello, everyone from lovely Louisiana. And Cat Butts in.
Hey, Cat Butt.
Hi, Ben, Craig, Jam Team and Crafties from a sunny Scotland. Scotland. It's warm in Scotland today, we're hearing. It's been warm today here as well, actually. It's been lovely outside. Rebecca joins us saying, marble effect backgrounds, please. Ooh, okay. We'll put that on the list of things to do. Shaz says, I sent a card to my daughter and hubby for their 15th wedding anniversary today. Well, happy anniversary. And Kendall Serafian says, hello, everyone from Minnesota. Right, let's get into it. And have a look at these Colour Bloom ink pads. Great deal on these. If you've not seen these before, they are absolutely brilliant, right? They are done in the new style that we've been showing you our ink pads in recently, that teardrop design. So you know what? These are nice and easy to hold, ergonomically designed to sit in your hand perfectly. And if you want to take them straight to the cardstock, you can, because you've got that wide end one end, and the other end you've got that teardrop design. So if you need to get into sort of smaller, trickier parts of your project, then you can do that too. The amazing thing about the Colour Bloom ink pads is that they are water-based ink pads again, and they react to the water being applied to them. And what's so clever about this, as you can see on the board, is that there's two colours in there. So you'll lay this down. So your pink grapefruit, for example, you lay it down, you're going to see this colour here, but then once you maybe spritz some water on there, you start doing your water techniques with this, you'll start to then see this secondary colour coming through. So it's a great way to create, amazing backgrounds with real interest. And look, you're going to get all of these 12 different colours, from your pomegranate through your pink grapefruit, your pumpkin patch for your more autumnal makes. You've got your summer bouquet in there, all the beautiful blues in there too, like your shoal and your nebula, and the colours down here I absolutely love as well. These beautiful blues and purples with the dusk orchid, stargazer, and the stunning hellebore. So you can pick these up individually, but the best value for money is to go for the deal with all of them in at £72 or 88 bucks. And this is where we are going to start, as I said. So it is over to you to get those questions and requests in, but we are going to have a look at these. Kim. We've got loads of questions coming in now. Hang on a minute. You're doing what I said. This is unbelievable. This has never happened before. We'll get over to Craig and we can start looking at these, and then I'll ask the questions as we go. So yes, start us off, Craig, on the Colour Blooms.
Rightio, let's start off then. I'm going to take a little bit of watercolour card, 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. What I'm also going to do now, you can do this with your low tack tape, but you guys know that I do prefer to use like a masking tape or a stencil tape. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use the grids within my glass mat, and then I'm going to go maybe a little bit further down. Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit further down here. So I have come up to 1.5 inches along the bottom for anyone that's wanting to know.
Yeah.
I'm then going to go in with the, and I would pick the one that I can never say.
What one?
The anemone.
Anemone.
Anemone. Going to go in with the anemone.
Which one?
The anemone.
Anemone.
Anemone. Anemone. And then I'm going to use my blending brush, could use your blending pads if you want to, and then we're going to work our way along. Now you will see what we're going to do, Ben. It's not completely necessary to have a block of low-tack tape, but I am going to come along and use this stamp here from Sheena's Peaceful Bliss.
Yeah.
So I want to have a gauge because I don't want to go too far up where my blue starts to then go above the image. So I'm just going to go in with my stencil tape. It could be a little bit of scrap card if you want to. And then I'm going to come along and then we're just going to then start to ink up using the anemone. Now these are the colour blooms, so they are for the change colour. Some of them change colour quite vividly compared to others. Some are subtle, some are brighter. This one you'll see as we start to do a little bit of a spritz. What I'm then also going to do is if I take a bit of card. Now you've maybe seen something similar yesterday when I was on, and then I'm just going to tear a bit of cardstock, and then what I'm then going to do is I'm going to come further up along the top there, and then I'm just going to start to push. So I'm going to push upwards and then move that down. So you can see we're starting to get, for yesterday it was kind of like hills. This is going to be like ripples along the bottom of the water. So I'm going to come down a little bit further more again. We're going to overlap. So that'll darken that ever so slightly, but then we're going to get another kind of rare ripples underneath. And then we're going to do the same here. So let's line that. You can tape it down if you want. But the great thing with this, other than blocking off, Ben, I would always say things like that, when you're getting creative with backgrounds, try and not tape down. And the reason being, you want it to be quite rustic. You want it to be quite natural. So if that was to slip and then I do an extra push with the brush, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just don't worry. I want it to be that natural look and feel. And then I'm just going to darken along the bottom, just that little bit more, so that we don't have that harsh white edge. What it also does is then we're starting to then subtly blend all of those together. So you still see kind of like the ripples, but it's just then dulled it down ever so slightly. So I'm going to move that out of the way here. Now, I've not had a chance to fill that up, but it doesn't matter. I'm still going to use my spray mister, and I'm just going to go into my hand, and then I'm just going to flit. I've got a great big dollop of water there.
Yeah.
But this is going to change to a little bit more of a lilac, which is still going to work when it comes to the look of water. So all that we need to do, Ben, is just leave it for a moment. Look at that already changing.
Yeah, incredible.
How fab's that? It's already starting to change. So what's going to happen is where you've got the puddles and the mist of water, that's going to turn with a lilac look when it comes to the anemone. Already. And then the actual outer edge of the bubbles or the water or the spritz is then going to go into that strong teal that this one, in actual fact, you can really see it on the masking tape there. So let's just dampen that one down. You can see, I mean, looks really, really smart.
Yeah.
And then what I will need to do before we come and stamp onto that is I'm going to remove that off there. So we've got that straight, you know, that could even be like the horizon.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
You know, and if you're thinking, oh my gosh, Craig, that's too straight, you're not going to see that straight line because we're going to block it off with that strong black line. But I'm just going to heat set this for a moment, Ben.
Hi to Pat, who's joined us from New Jersey. Little Bear says, I love seeing how the ripples are created. And Lynn joins us from Newcastle. As far as made cards, Mary Pat says, my most recent card I designed was a graduation card for our granddaughter. The Just to Say stamp collection was perfect for personalisation. Kim Creekmore says, I made a card for a baby shower honouring my niece. Well, that's super cute. And Lois says, I received a card from a friend and she used a Crafter's Companion image. How about that? I love it. Questions flying through. I tell you what, after we've seen this particular demo with Craig, we will fire into these, and there's, well, questions about collections, questions about duet ink pads, questions about the MIDI as well. So fire them all in. We want them all tonight, whatever you like.
We do indeed.
Yeah, no questions off limits.
No, not at all. Not at all. Right, what I'm going to do here, and this, I don't have any of my nesting dies with me, so I'm taking a circle. This is just a lid, and it doesn't need to be precise or neat. It's just so I've got a rough circle, and then I can then just round that off. So I'm going to then take another bit of, in actual fact, it doesn't matter about the masking tape. What I was going to do, and I'll do it seeing as I start to talk about it, although it's not necessary because we're going to use that stamp.
Yeah.
But what I could do is now block that bottom bit off. I'm going to jump to my water reactive. So I'm just going to go in with a light bit of baby blue. So that can be the sky, but I want it to be quite different to, of course, the actual sea. And I'm just going to then ink that up. I'm going to add a little bit to start with, like so. And then what I'm going to do is let's take my dots, and then I'm going to go maybe round about there. And then I'm still going to just hold that down, and then we can go a little bit heavier handed. And the reason I went with a little bit of blue first is that circle, when I remove it, I don't want it to be, you know, harsh white. I wanted it to be a little bit of colour. It's as if the reflection of the blue from either the sky or the water is bouncing off and being reflected back into the sun.
Yeah.
Or it could be the moon. I'm not going to colour it once I've removed it, but you might want to come in with yellows or a tan, depending on what time of the day it's going to be. So if I then work my way in, I'm not going to spritz it or anything, I'm going to leave it completely smooth. I'm then going to carefully prise that off.
Yes.
Look, and that little mistake that I done there,
it looks
blended,
like clouds across.
It's like the clouds going across.
Yeah.
It's like the clouds going across. So then therefore, what we can do, let's take just another bit of scrap, and I'm just going to roughly go up and down, kind of like little bit of mountains. Same with that baby powder, or baby blue. Just going to go in and see how you get that subtleness of like the cloud.
I love that.
Just into the front.
Yeah.
If you want to go a little bit more heavy-handed, you can do. Into here, just breaking it up. It's as if you've got the clouds, and then what we could do is even a little bit underneath into there, going in, pressing. So we've got, as if we've got clouds in the mist.
There we
just
go.
over
So
the
good.
front. So if I take that off, starting to set that scene with the backdrop, and then I'm going to come along. Let's take our stamping platform, and let's use our discs to anchor it down.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put them in each corner to start with. I might need to adjust them ever so slightly, but we're going to go in with the stamp that's got the reflection. So I'm going to go right along the base here. So if I can come along there, and I'm going to pull down into place. And what I'm doing, Ben, is that line, that join I've got, I'm just running that parallel to where I've got that block of stamp in the middle.
Yeah.
So we're not going to see it. I'm going to go in and take my stamping platform and press that in, like so. And I was going to use a Noir black, but I'm not, Ben. I'm going to change it. I'm going to go in with a flagstone, and I'm going to go in with my waterproof. Now, you can go in with a quick dry or that, because I'm not going to be doing any more water-based.
Yeah.
But because we do get strong intensity from the waterproof ink pad, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to stamp.
We can ask one question whilst we're on this. So Rita's asking about duet inks. Can you use embossing powder with these, like the colour blooms, or indeed the duet ink pads on their own?
Absolutely, you can do. Yeah, it's a great, because they've got that form of pigment in the middle. Yeah, you can absolutely. They hold the embossing like a dream. Now what I'm doing here is where we've got that reflection, I'm just dabbing off some of that ink, because although you've got the sketch mark that Sheena's put in, so that's going to lighten it, I actually want the tone lighter than it actually is. I'm then going to take, doesn't matter on the colour card, so I'm going to lightly press, because once again, Ben, I don't want a strong flagstone grey or black, so I want to take some of that off. And then I'm going to turn that around, make sure that's lined up, and then I'm going to press. So if I press that in, and I'm not pressing as hard as I usually do, I'm just going to then tap my fingers and then lift.
Yes.
So we're going to start to get that reflection. So level it up. I'm going to go a little bit heavier handed. And the great thing with the stamping platform, if I feel, Ben, I've taken too much off the bottom, then I can just go and add it onto the stamp and repress, which I have done. So we're just going to go back and let's just add more on. I'm not going to take any off this time, because you need to keep in mind, if you look at the rays underneath there, there's not actually a lot of image to it, because you've got that scratch work looks, that reflection, although it's jumping from underneath. So press that one in like so, and then remove.
So
and
good.
Look at that.
So good.
I want that stronger.
Yeah.
So all that I'm going to do, Ben, is I'm going to turn my ink pad on its side.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to run along the top.
Yes, because like you say, the bottom part is the reflection, isn't it? So you want that lighter in the water.
So I do want that lighter. So I'm going to go in, press that one in, like so. Release.
Nice.
And I'm really, really happy with that. We're just starting to get that sun or the moon in the backdrop. Let's go in now with the relax and renew. And I'm going to go in with the birds. So let's take that off there. And let's have a little play.
Is that geese or ducks?
I don't know, actually. Probably geese, actually.
Is it?
Probably geese. Now I'm going to do it so we've got some just coming past. Let's say the moon. Let's say it's the moon, starting to get dusk. And I'm not using them all, I'm only using a few. And then maybe what we could also do you want a hot air balloon?
Yes, I do want a hot air balloon.
Let's do...
And a plane.
Do you want a plane as well?
It's very busy in the sky tonight.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, there was a way to do 2 hot air balloons, so let's do 1 balloon and 1 plane.
Yeah.
So I think it's the way of a plane, isn't it?
Well, I hope it's going up. If it's going down into the water.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point, isn't it?
Yeah, unless it's what are they called? Seaplane. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is the hot air balloon, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to use the smallest one, so it's just coming from behind the trees or the bushes, and then the plane. Let's go. Although I'm a big fan of stamping off the page, let's have the full... Actually, do you know what we will do? Talking of stamping off, as if the hot air balloon, Ben, is floating up off your image. So let's go in with the plane into there, and then let's take that one off.
It's a very busy sky.
Yeah, but it happens, doesn't it?
It does happen.
But what I think where the magic worked is because it's a silhouette.
Yes.
You know, if it was full-on colour, then you might find it's a little bit
too busy.
And yeah, of course, you might want to take away the plane or take away the hot air balloon. But I'm just wanting to show you how you can create your background and then fill it with some of the components that you've got within the set there.
That actually works. That.
It does work, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
That works an absolute treat.
Because the way you've done it, because you've put the balloon kind of going off the page, it looks like that's more in the background, away from the plane.
And then same with the geese. You've got some in the... They're all in the same form, but you've got a couple of them that are in front of the moon. That gives the visual impression that it's away into the background. So, simple. Never, in my opinion, never complicate your layers.
No, or your words.
Or my words. Or my words. We're only at Wednesday. I've still got 2 days to go.
Oh, dear.
You've got me all week.
Oh, dear.
So let's press that into there. Now, this could easily go onto a small card, but this sort of thing, again, in my opinion, you want to frame. So, white card, I've gone in at 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. This is also watercolor card, Ben. Now, although this is a matte and layer, I want that tactile feel. I don't want it to be overly smooth. So I'm going to work my way around. And this is 5 by 7 card blank. You can make it smaller and do a 4 by 6 if you want, or you can do it as a square if you want. I'm not going to add a sentiment. You can if you want to, but let's lift this one up within our foam pads, and then that will be us done with one colour bloom, brought in one of my water reactives, and just setting that scene, creating our backdrop there that we can see. So if I bring that one in there, now your sentiment could fit just along the bottom.
Brilliant.
Or just into there. But as I say, I'm not doing anything more to it. I'm just going to leave it as it is.
I like the way you've done the mats and layers on that, because it almost looks like that should be framed rather than on the front of a card.
That's what it's like, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. What you could do is a couple of gems there, or petals, and a couple of petals there, or at each corner to create that sort of rivet sort of look.
Yeah.
And then that's you done.
Rose says, could you spray and shine over it?
Oh, that would look gorgeous if you'd done that. Yeah, spray and shine. If you're not familiar with it, I'm not sure about you guys stateside on our website, but yeah, it's a green tin. Spray it, let it set, spray it again. I personally maybe do it 4 or 5 times. And do you know what it does, Ben? Is it gives you the same look as triple embossing.
Yeah.
So if you don't have spray and shine, do what I done yesterday with the triple embossing, and that will give you the same look.
Kim's just asking, and this is sort of related, I suppose. She says, how do you keep your smudge card backgrounds from looking like bad tie-dye? So I suppose you're talking like the sort of like smoosh backgrounds, I guess. Having problems with that.
Right, yeah, that's a good question. What a lot of people have a habit of doing, inking, spritzing, smooshing, and then drying it off, going in with another colour and smooshing that straight away. You need to dry your layers.
Yeah.
Dry your layers. So do your first layer, let it dry, heat set it with the heat tool, then do your second layer. Dry it off, then if you're doing another layer. So in between each layer, and I've done it myself for quite a long time as well, it kept just going all muddy colours. And the key thing is you need to then just dry all your layers. They don't have to be completely dry, but a good couple of minutes with your heat gun just to set that initial layer, and then go back with the inking and smooshing for a second and third time.
And one final question for now. Keep them coming. This is, again, unrelated, but is the platform the same size in the MIDI as the Junior?
Is it in the MIDI? Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So the size of the folder in the MIDI is the same size as your Gemini Junior plates, yeah.
Having a hard time watching, says Carol. My cat is sitting right in front of the monitor. Cat. Good morning to Jane Austin. Hi to Lois. Hi also to Pat, who's in with us from New Jersey. Stephen Nicole joins us. And a hi to Suzanne Dawn, who says, hello, everyone. A little late, so creeping into the back of the classroom. We can see you. Hello. She says, hi, Ben, Craig, and all the CC family. Shannon says, my most recent cards have all been full cards using last year's pumpkin spice dies and stamps.
Pumpkin spice?
Huh?
Someone say pumpkin spice?
Pumpkin spice. Don't get him started.
Oh, I can't eat it.
His favourite. And Little Bear says, Craig's demo makes me feel like this is something I could do. He explains everything very clearly, so thank you.
Thank you.
Hi to Cheryl and also Barbara McDonald, who says, hello from Virginia. I gave 4 cards to my sister in the nursing home. I make the patients' cards all the time. Really lovely idea, that. Oh my gosh, Craig, that was amazing, says Rose. And Robin says, I looked away for 2 minutes. Wow, Craig, fantastic. If you want the colour bloom ink pads, those are all the colours. So you'll need these to be able to recreate that card that Craig has just shown you. £72 or $88 is your price there. It's 12 different ink pads in this new shape, the shape that we're doing our ink pads in now. But within each one, that one's obviously the pink grapefruit. You get, when you lay it down, that's the colour, but you'll see when it reacts to the water, you're going to get that secondary colour come to the fore. So it's a really, really fun set to be crafting with. And again, you know, a great price on this for all 12 of those. If you do want to be able to recreate Craig's card, then you'll need the Draw the Line collection. This is absolutely exceptional from the very talented Sheena Douglas. And what's nice about this as well is you get all of the stamp sets, but you also get those aqua pens that we had in a different bundle for you earlier on this morning on Craft Vault. So the sets that you get here are the Peaceful Bliss. So that one is that beautiful scene that you've just seen there with Craig, with the beautiful church. You've got even got the little bench there as well. I think she said that was Evesham, I think she said, where she took inspiration from all of these images. That one combined with some of the stamps from the Relax and Renew. So that's where you're going to get your plane and your hot air balloon and your geese. You've got that beautiful woodland scene there as well. Then you have got the one with nature. So that's your stag, your boxing hares, and then more beautiful kind of silhouettes with the trees and the reeds and foliage there. And then the last stamp set that you've got is the Into the Forest, that beautiful tree. And then your foliage sprigs there too. You do also get within that set your Sheena tricolours as well that we showed you a little bit earlier on. Perfect these if you do want to try that draw the line technique, because within the set you've got your definition line, and then you've got your pen for that accent line, and then you've got also your pen there with those 3 printer colours, the mixing pen, so you can create all of those different colours within that set. Hello, Teresa from Illinois, and Cat Butt says, stunning. Lovely cards, this Pat. I've just got my dies for this collection, but I haven't tried it yet. Well, you know what to do now. And question from Deb, before we move on to the shimmer sprays. Craig, what do you find easier, the new brushes, so the ones that are back in stock, I guess, or the rectangle for blending?
Oh, do you know something? This is so close, and the fact if you'd asked me last week, I would have still said my square blending tools. They were always my go-to, and you know, in some form they will always be. But over the weekend, because I was doing a lot of prep from home and I kept reaching to my brushes, oh my gosh, they are absolutely beautiful, so easy to blend. I have to say with this, the rectangle blending tools, I've been fortunate enough that I've never found it difficult, Ben, to actually get a nice blend.
Yeah.
But I know so many do. If you have, and you've not tried the brushes, try the brushes. I'm now going to say that my favourite form of blending is definitely our brushes now.
There you go. Keep the questions coming, please. More questions. Anything you want to ask Craig, anything you want to know about a technique, anything you want to ask about anything on the show, anything you're stuck with on a crafty project, anything you want to ask about any of our machines, particularly the MIDI or the Mini, which are back in stock, anything you want to ask about the G2, anything on the show, anything on the previous show, ask away. That's what we're here for on masterclasses. We're also here to bring you fantastic deals like our 10-piece shimmer spray collection. And what's so lovely about this is you have got these 10 fantastic colours packed full of mica to give you that beautiful, not only beautiful colour, but look at that. This is what we're talking about. The sheen here, the sparkle that you're going to receive. I do believe, certainly the maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, the little care bottles that we had with these, because it is in stock, thank goodness for that, because you'll find these come in little spray bottles, right? And because like the contents of these, the mica that you've got, you will find over time, just naturally, because they're so jam-packed, that your nozzles will clog just a little bit. So what I would say to you is, buy the care set that goes with this as well, which gives you extra bottles and also a little funnel as well, so you can decant from one bottle to another. So if you do get one that's clogged, you can decant it out into another bottle so it's ready to use, and then you can clean that bottle. And as I say, it's just for the fact that these are so jam-packed with that mica, and you can see from the board that, you know, that is true. It's a true story. This is just absolutely jam-packed, so you're going to get the most shimmer, I think, that you will have ever seen as far as shimmer sprays are concerned. What we've done on this board as well, just to show you, is we have sprayed this onto white cardstock and sprayed it onto dark cardstock as well. So as you go across, you can see the difference of colour that you'll get when you spray this onto darker and onto white. Obviously the white's on the top, your black cardstock is on the bottom. Colours you're going to get, that's your Firelight Sparkle, you can see, but you've got deep seashell pink there. You've also got your sunset bronze. Look at the gold dust. That is fantastic. And then you've got your iced silver there too. Next down onto the bottom row, some of my faves down here. I love the Summer Meadow, but the golden sunflower, look at that. Just catches the light beautifully, and I think the Summer Meadow again illustrates just how jam-packed this is, full of shimmer. The Celestial Map, I remember when we launched these, was one of the Anne's favourites, alongside the Royal Velvet, which she said in that voice every single time she brought it to air. And then you've got your Golden Heather in there too. £37.60 for all 10 of those, or $50.40. We're going to have a play with these. So, as I say, keep firing in those questions. Oh, 3 more questions have come in just whilst I've been showing you those, and some comments as well. Lovely card, Craig says, Pat, I'm saving the show to try the technique. Love that card, Craig, says Mary Beth Doyle. Thank you for sharing. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do this demo with Craig in just a second, and then we will fire questions in. So we'll do a little question section. I can see that we've got questions on Tri-Blend. We have got questions on the magnetic stamping platform as well. So anything else you'd like to add to the next question section, get those in. Wendy says, hi Ben, Craig, Jan, and all of the crafters. I've missed the first half hour as I was preparing tea. Anything tasty, anything nice, what you have in? Let us know. I'll catch up later. If you have just joined us as well, do remember any comments tonight, you are going into the draw to win that stamp set from the Vintage Rose collection. It's Hug a Greeting Card Writer Day today. I mean, goodness me. So we're asking you, what was the last card you sent? Who was it to? What was it for? What collection did you use, maybe? But certainly anything you want to ask, it will get you into the draw to win that. Suzanne Dawn says, you need glasses on those shimmers. You do. These are packed full of micro shimmer, aren't they, Craig? Oh,
they are absolutely jam-packed full. So we're going to have a play here. Now, you'll probably gather, certainly by this demonstration, Ben, that my main sizes of my cards and mats and layers are very simple, 5x7, etc., black and white. It's because I want to focus on the backgrounds. That's what I want to focus on. So therefore, you guys at home can then, of course, do the sizes of cards that you want. So I'm just going to trim this down. And the thing is as well, nothing works more than getting really inky, creating a beautiful inky background and having a lovely, beautiful, strong, black matte and layered frame. It just works an absolute treat. So I've got that there, my white card, 4.5 by 6.5, and it is watercolor card. You'll also see when I do a lot of backgrounds, I'm going to keep bringing in my masking tape or my stencil tape. You can, of course, be using your low-tack tape. If you are, please do de-tack it off your jumper or something like that. So I'm going to take this strip here, and then I'm going to get that. Well, actually, I'll use the width of my masking tape, like so, and then I'm going to take another one, and then I'm going to go roughly maybe about 1.5 inches or so. So let's do 2 inch. So I'm just using my glass mat and the measurements as a guide. So I'm going to just section that off like so, and then what I'm also going to do is let's just cover this. You could take scrap paper or card or copier paper and section it off. If you don't have low-tack tape, masking tape, stencil tape, and it's nothing special.
No.
You know, you can use them out the DIY store or, you know, the hardware store, you know, your masking tape for things like that. You can absolutely use. Or if you don't have anything like that, printer paper, copier paper, and your repositionable spray. Spray that on the back, and then that will work a treat. What I'm going to do is, let's just peel that one back. I'm also going to, you once again can be using scrap paper. I'm going to be, come tomorrow, I don't want my head in my hands by Tracy having spritzed everywhere.
Oh yeah, she'll be back in tomorrow.
So,
Look out.
I'm just putting, all that I was doing there is putting an extra bit of card in front of me, just so if it catches any spritz, then...
Now, why are you doing that and not, like, shaking it to wake it?
So, personally, Ben, I prefer to rock and roll back and forwards to get that ball bearing going, only because it's more to think of afterwards and about potentially the blockage of the little nozzle chamber. So what can happen is it can actually be not only the pigment in it and the shimmer in it, but it can also be the air bubbles that cause the block.
So this is good for Rita then, because she says, is there any way to get the mica out of the spray tube? She's having problems with it. So if she's shaking it, then that could be contributing to the blockages, right?
That will contribute to it, yeah. No, won't be the sole answer, but contributing it. The most important thing you must do, and I'm good at doing this at home, not always on air because we're live in front of you guys, but once you've finished with it, Ben, take it off, a little cup with warm water or in the sink, and what you're going to do is sit that in the cup, Ben, or the sink or wherever you've got water, and keep pressing until the water then spritz through.
Okay.
So you've dispersed any of the shimmer, any of the pigment. So that's going to be in a cup of water or a bowl of water.
Yeah.
Keep spritzing, spritzing, spritzing until the water comes through. What I then do, remove it, keep pressing it until you've dispersed all that water, so then that whole lot is completely clear.
Good idea.
And then you can put it back in, and then that'll be you good to go
there you go,
for
Rita.
the next time.
Try that.
So yeah, give that a shot, and hopefully that will help. But yeah, and the air bubbles can contribute to that as well, Ben. So that's why I like to rock and roll them that way instead of shaking them. So let's go in with deep seashell pink, and let's go in with gold dust.
Yes.
And let's take, so I'm just going to put that cap on and give that a little bit more of a rock there, and then we're going to be good to go. All that I'm going to do here, in case you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just going to start off in the bin, Ben. If you've got a little old tray, put a bit of card in there, and every time you do it for the first time, after, I don't know, 6, 7 times of different colours, let it dry, and then you can use that for backgrounds.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't have something like that to the side of me. So I'm going to go closer, the more bubble of water you're going to get, the more pool. Further back, the more of the mist. So I'm going to go in and spritz. What I'm also then going to do is I'm just going to go on a black card here at the side.
Yeah.
Now I'll do that again for Jamie to see close up with the deep seashell. I am, however, going to give it just a light dry off, not a complete dry off, but where we were talking about before, still being water-based these, so these could then puddle into each other. So I'm just wanting to lightly heat set that, just so that we can get that initial layer of the shimmer of the gold dust to then set, and then we can then come along with a deep seashell. What I will also give you a little bit of a tip, that if you guys stateside that continue to be in our craft club, well, I've got a craft club with the shimmer sprays.
Yeah.
In the UK, of course, we didn't go that far. However, you will already have access to the education from 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. You can continue to watch all the other ones. So go onto YouTube, go back to your craft club tutorials with myself, or the ones that you've got, and then just look for the shimmer spray, and you'll get 3 or 4 other kind of tutorials with myself. And you might not have the colours that are in them, but you can do exactly what I'm doing with the colours that you've got. So I'm going to then go a little bit closer. I'm going to do the same again, just to the side in the bin here. So let's just get that one going. And then I'm going to go a little bit further back here. So I'm going, I'm not good in gauging, but I don't know, maybe 10 inches or so. And then light spritz.
Yeah.
I'd say that was about 10 inches back.
Ah, okay.
That's 10.
All right. All right. Oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, that was 10. What was that? Oh,
I think you were a bit lower.
oh, was it?
Yeah. Call it 8 and we'll call it a day.
I'm saying nothing on that one. I'm just going to carry on heat setting my shimmers here.
PB Brewer Martin says, Craig's class offers such a review/use of so many techniques and products. Thank you. And Mary Pat says, I really need to make swatches of my shimmer sprays.
What was that, Ben?
Nothing, you're all right. I'm just reading out some comments. Just saying, Johnny was just saying you need a top tip T-shirt to go with your toodles. Every time you do a top tip, you can like open up your jacket. Top tip. Then we can go ding 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 ding. Top
We need
tip.
a bell.
Pardon?
A bell. We need a bell.
I need a bell. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a bell actually that I could bring in now. When I did the Great North Run, they were giving out AJ Bell, the sponsors. They were
Really?
giving out free like ring-a-ding-a-ding bells. So I could bring that in and we could have that if you wanted. Could be the top tip bell.
Has Christina still got her bell?
She has, but I think she gets a bit annoyed when I keep nicking it.
When you keep
Nicking it.
nicking
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Right. So we've gone in, and then you're going to start to get that light burst of the gold dust just away into that backdrop.
Yeah.
But then what we've also got is the deep seashell pink. You can also, if you didn't already know, being water-based, let's go in with the shimmer, the shimmer spray. They're all called shimmer spray, Craig. Royal Velvet.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to spritz onto my glass mat.
Wow, look at that.
Look at that, absolutely fab, isn't it? I'm then going to take, I don't know whose water or what water this is, but let's use it. And let's take some water, because you can still, of course, spritz through your stencils, Ben. You can do your washes as well if you want to. There's still all of them. So if I just pick up that, so there's no water on this brush just now. So if I go straight on to my cardstock and just add that water or that paintbrush with the velvet. So if I start to go in, and then once it's dry, that's when we can just start to see that
Just
shimmer
a little bit, yeah.
coming to life now. So if I then go in, you can start to see, you do need
Yeah,
to...
you can begin to see it in the middle.
And you'll start to see it more. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There we are. And then it'll continue to get even better and better as it continuously dries. So what I'm going to do, before I go back to finishing what my original, I'm saying my original plan is, I'm just going with what you guys at home have asked to see.
Yeah.
Let's intensify that little bit more. And then if I go in with water, what's great with this, Ben, is you can then start to blend this out, but you will still get the incredible shimmer bursting through. Even although you're watering down,
Yeah.
you're still going to get that shimmer. So you can paint with them, watercolor with them, do your backdrops. If you like things like your salt technique, the bubble wrap technique, all of that you can still do, and you'll still get that shimmer bursting through. So I'm just going to spritz a little bit more water, and then start to blend them in together,
Yeah.
like so. And then what I'll do this time is we'll let that dry for a few moments, because it'll be easier to see when we come back. But let's come back to this one. Just dry that one off. And then I never get fed up of pulling off stencil tape or tissue tape, just to keep on that nice, straight, clean edge. Like so.
Yes.
How fab. Really, really smart. So before we go in and stamp, let's take a pen. So this is just one of our art liners. And then all that I'm going to do is roughly, Ben, follow the line.
Yeah.
So I'm going to follow the line. I don't know why I'm jumping back and forwards. I could have just done the same one. And then I'm going to do a line.
Oh, cool.
And a zig.
Very groovy.
Down there. And then do a zig. And then let's bring back in our stamping platform. This time I'm going to go to Sheena's lino stamps.
Yeah.
So let's just flatten that out. Because we've heat set it, the card will buckle slightly. And let's go in with, let's do maybe the luscious
lupins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you've got that tall, that elongated luscious lupin floral.
Yeah.
And then we're going to stamp that.
Hi, Ben and Craig, says Michael. I had a fabulous day at Crafter's Companion in Evesham. What was going down there? Let us know. Did you purchase? Colleen said started watching and then I had to leave, but now I'm back. I'm back. I'll have to watch back to see what I've missed. Love what I've been watching so far. And Anne says, last card I sent was a get well card from my daughter. She thinks she has shingles. That's painful.
Oh, no.
Painful.
Oh, I've had that.
Horrible. Hope she's all right. Hi to Jane, who joined us from Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas.
I'm very late this morning. And Wanda says, I keep a spray bottle of water just for cleaning the shimmer spray.
Great idea.
When I'm done, top comes off the spray and into the water. I spray on scrap card in my spray box until it's clear, and I have sparkly scraps. Love that idea. As I say, if you want spare bottles, the care kit for the shimmer sprays is available on the website. Just, they said, just Google, just type into the search bar care kit, and you'll be able to find that. Mary Beth says the last card I sent this week was a birthday card for a close friend using the Cosmic Collection. And a few more questions coming in. If we don't get time to do them in this hour, we've got another hour to come, so do not worry. If you've asked a question, I will pose it to Mr. Craig in just a few moments' time. Oh, look at your lupins.
What I will do as well, Ben, is after the show, if there is ones that we don't get to,
Yeah.
I will have a look through them as well and see if there's ways in which we can help, maybe direct you to past shows or past YouTube or something like that.
We'll do them all, mate. We'll do them all.
Well, we will do our absolute best, that's for sure. That's for sure. Now, let's frame that on a bit of black card. I'm not going to put it on a card blank. As I said right at the start there, Ben, this is all about showing you the backgrounds, hence why the stamps that I'm doing and stamping, I'm keeping them kind of that silhouette feel because I want it to be all about the backgrounds that we're creating.
Yeah.
So let's add that on into there. So if I bring that on into place, let's press that like so.
Love that.
And then here we go. We've got our backdrop.
Absolutely.
You can see, so if I then
Brilliant.
just start to, look at that.
Amazing.
How fab is that? And then what we'll do, it's partly dry, just a little bit more to go.
Yeah.
Look at that. And that's been watered down, Ben. It's been watered down, but you don't lose that shimmer. It's so full within the bottles that you don't lose it.
Great demo. Love that. Covered off the shimmer sprays. If you want to see more in the second hour, just holler. But those are all of the colours that you're going to be getting. 10 colours. We've sprayed those twice for you on white cardstock and your dark cardstock, so you can see the difference in the colours that you're going to be able to achieve there. But as you can see, jam-packed full of mica, jam-packed full of sparkle and shimmer for all your projects. It's a 20% saving on that this evening. And if you're platinum, of course, you get your extra 20% off that. So you're at £37.60 or $50.40. Questions coming through and comments as well. That is looking wicked, says Colleen. Wicked. Hilary says, I've just bought the spray and shine and spray and sparkle. I had no idea that they existed and I'm very excited. And Carol says, I really love that. So simple, yet elegant. Right. A few questions. Let me just quickly track back here for a second. Oh, tablet, stop mucking me about here. Questions. Rita Jackson. Should tri-blends be stored flat or is it all right to store them upright?
Really good question. All pens store on their side. Hence why, Ben, when you get trays, whether it's our trays or any branded pens, they're all on their side. And the reason being, whether it is Classiques, whether it's another brand, whether it's Tri-Blend, if you have them upright, the ink's going to run to the bottom. And potentially, depending on the brand, potentially can start to leak out the bottom.
Oh dear.
The only time I would store any pen upright is if it's starting to dry out. So to get the maximum out of the ink, turn it on the side that you like to use so that you can get as much of that ink drawn down to the bottom. But any pen, alcohol-based, water-based pen, glitter pens, anything like that, always, always store on their side so the ink is level right across the pen.
Wendy says, I'm going to have a crafty evening as my Sheila stamps just got delivered this afternoon and I have made a few backgrounds, so I was prepared to use them straight away. Stephen says, got to make a birthday card for my lovely granddaughter. And Wanda says, the last cards I mailed, 2 birthday cards following Craig's tutorial for fire and ice.
Fire and ice.
Couple more questions. How many, says Little Bear, how many magnets come with the stamping platform? And are they strong enough to hold down card? This is a problem with my current platform, says Little Bear. Get the 8x8 platform is all I would say, first of all.
Yes, so our 8x8 stamping platform, you get four magnetic discs with them. What I would say as well is, you know, it depends on, like for instance, this one here, as it dries, obviously your card can buckle sometimes, depending on the size of the card. If you've got other magnets like I do, I just use an additional few magnets just to anchor it down. It'll do no harm. The only thing you want to make sure is the magnets aren't uber thick, that the magnet is going to block the ability to press the stamp into, of course, the cardstock. So yeah, I remember when we done our mini memory albums, we brought out tiny little magnetic discs. I use them as well as the ones you got with it. So you get 4 with them, but if you need more or you lose any, we did used to sell them individually. It's packs of 4. I don't think we'd do any more, but if we don't, any magnets that you can then use with your stamping platform.
Another question coming in. Lois says, I just got a notification from UPS. What I ordered yesterday will be here on Friday. Boom. That's good, isn't it? All the way to Ohio. Mary Beth says, I need to get my shimmer sprays out and use them more. And Michael says, oh, read the Evesham chip. We were staying nearby, so we had to visit. I mean, that's the law, isn't it, really? Meet the staff and pick up some bargains. Plaid pad papers and lots of great deals. Question from Lorraine Cook, who says, joined a bit late, but I've noticed that some of my stamps stay black when using the waterproof ink. Why can't I clean them?
Nature of the beast. Nature of the beast. Now, I know you might think, of course, well, water-based stamp, water-based, wash it off, why isn't it just completely clear? But you've still all the science and that goes into the ink, of course, to enable you to then watercolor without it, of course, bleeding out of the stamp impression. So yeah, it's just the components that are inside the actual water-based ink pad that will potentially, on some of your stamps, stain them. It's just like quick dry, certain colours, the fuchsia within the quick dry, an absolute nightmare when it comes to staining your stamp. However, Ben, as long as you've cleaned that excess ink off, it'll be absolutely fine. So your watercolour, that could be stained with black, but as long as you've got all that residue of the black off your stamp, you can go on with a yellow and that will not transfer through. So don't worry, stamp cleaner is definitely going to be your helping hand when it comes to something like that.
Yeah, and you see that so often, don't you? I've seen you guys before, like when you brought in your own stamps that, you know, they've been stained for whatever reason. But like you say, as long as you've got the excess off, it just means that you end up having like pretty stamps, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
Question from Diane. Can you possibly tell me, is there a tutorial on the layering die flower set, particularly with the Echinacea and Foxglove?
The layering, is that our new one?
The ones that we did recently. I know there's been a lot of shows. Did you do a YouTube?
There's one on my Crafter's Companion YouTube, but that's with the elegant rose that a lot of people were having issues with the elegant rose. As far as the 2 Debbies here, what I would suggest is, because Debbie didn't demo them in Countdown to Launch, did she? That'll be launch day that you need to have a look.
Yeah.
go onto YouTube, have a look at launch day and see the ones that she's done there. I do know that we've also got them coming up. Tomorrow, is it tomorrow? No, Friday, I'm all lost with my days. Friday, I've got a craft along with the sunflower. I'm doing one with the sunflower. So we'll see, don't hold me to this. If we've got maybe a little bit of time, what I might try and do is have them die cut out, and then I'll show you how to assemble them. Have a look at launch day on YouTube, but we'll try and do that on Friday, Ben.
The launch, I'm just seeing away. I can't believe it was that far back. Thursday, the 29th of August. I would have said that was last week.
Yeah.
I really would.
What were the two, sorry, Ben?
It was the Echinacea and Foxglove.
Rightio. Right, I'll take a note of that.
Jeffrey's just joined us saying, good evening, Ben, and the hottie Scotty Craigie Bagel. And the spectacular and exceptional CTV crew. Write that down, guys. You can have that. Jamie and Johnny, spectacular and exceptional you are this evening. No, they're always are. And they've been particularly spectacular and exceptional today. We've all been working very hard today, actually, behind the scenes, in between shows. I mean, like we always do, in case the bosses are watching. Hi, Wendy, who's joined us. Hi also to lovely Kathy Myers, who's joined us from Missouri as well. Can you please keep the questions coming in? Because you've made this a very interactive hour, and I've loved it. Pat, I've just seen your question, which has come through. So we'll get that answered in the second half of the show. It's Masterclass. It is all about creating backgrounds. In the second hour, we're going to come on to the watercolor palettes for you. But anything else that you want to see, anything else you want to ask, fire in those questions. And you ask a question, could be a prize for you tonight. Welcome to the second hour of the show. It is just gone 6 o'clock here in the UK. What are you? 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, midday Central. It's lovely to have you all with us, wherever you are watching us from. Give us a little holler as well if you're watching from somewhere we don't normally mention. Now, we obviously always talk about the UK, don't we, in the US? But if you're watching somewhere else, give us a little shout. Because if you comment tonight, indeed, probably I would say, in the next 45 minutes or so, we normally pick the winner around about sort of 1:45, 10 to. You could stand the chance of winning yourself this lovely vintage textures stamp set from the Vintage Rose collection. All you got to do is comment. It is hug a greeting. I still can't remember this one. Hug a greeting card writer day. So if you want to send in a comment about the last project that you made for somebody, or maybe somebody made a project for you as far as the card's concerned, let us know. But generally, we'd love your questions and we'd love your requests on the show tonight as well. And same from the first half of the show, Craig. As we go into the second half of the show, I mean, we're going to look at the watercolour palettes, but you're happy to incorporate anything people want to see within reason? Absolutely, yeah, 100%. Very, very quickly, Ben, we'll show you how I clean my water spritz. Oh, yeah. So I've just taken this out. I've just got a couple of things of water. So I'm just popping that in the water. You'll probably find the easier way to do it at home. Obviously, I can't leave the studio. So I'm just going in, and then I'm just spritzing. So that's it cleaning. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out the water bin, and then I'm going to keep spritzing until that water is all out. Now, that is completely clear. I'll let that dry. Once it's dry, I'll pop it back into the Shimmer bottle. There you go. Quick little top tip for you there. Hello from Colorado, says Evelyn. I've been watching on my TV whilst clearing off my desk. I love all the tips from Craig and the jokes from Ben. Not too many jokes tonight, actually. But we're all about the tips tonight and the education. Do you want a quick question before we start off this hour? From Pat. She says, I've seen on one of the shows, Craig uses the anti-static bag on the paper and not on the stamps. Does he do that for all the inks or just specific type of inks? I will do that when I'm doing heat embossing. So the only time that I'll use the anti-static bag is if I'm doing heat embossing. So yeah, I'll always do it onto the card. I personally won't put the anti-static bag or dab it onto the stamp. I'll do it onto my cardstock. But yeah, it's only when I'm going to do heat embossing. So when I'm away to stamp the stamp with the watermark ink pad or a pigment ink pad. I am going to actually contradict myself there and say I'll sometimes use the anti-static bag onto acetate if I'm going to do a shaker with really fine granules, because sometimes, of course, the friction can then enable the glitter to stick to the acetate. So I'll sometimes use it in that way. But yeah, anti-static bag I'll always use when I'm doing heat embossing, and that's about it. Excellent. Hi to Little Bear, who's joined us from the Lake District. And Colleen, who says, I'm currently watching on my laptop and crafting away. Whilst I watch, I might have to get my spritzers out and do a craft with them. Craig has inspired me again.
Good, that's what it's all about.
If you've got our shimmering watercolours, then maybe we can inspire you to get these out and have a go. If you haven't yet got them, what a price on these tonight, a 30% saving off the duo. So you've got your Moonbeam and you have got your Sunbeam in here as well. These are just amazing, packed full of shimmer. And what we've done here is we've given you these 2 collections. What you've got in each set, 24 amazing colours to be working with. The Sunbeam particularly, you're going to find that this will work the best on your lighter colour cardstock. Absolutely jam-packed with that luxurious shimmer, but this is going to work perfectly for you on your white cardstock, all right? So make sure that you are applying that there. And as you can see, a whole host of different colours. Going to take your water to this, and again, mix and match these around, create new colours if you want to be able to do that. You've then got, within this set, so if you want to go onto white and your darker cardstock, Moonbeam. And it's easy to remember, like, I mean, it's on the packaging, but if you do lose the packaging, I always just remember like Sunbeam. So Sunbeam is light, so only on your lighter cardstock. Moonbeam, you're going to see that at night, so that will go on your dark cardstock and also on your light cardstock as well. Once again, a whole host of beautiful colours, jam-packed full of this luxurious shimmer. And once again, you can see the reason why we're featuring these in this particular show, in the fact that, you know, whilst you can stamp out your images and you know, paint with these, some beautiful stamped images, these are going to be absolutely perfect again to create some stunning backgrounds, with, you know, beautiful bold shimmer, whether it be on your white cardstock or whether it be on your dark cardstock. 48 colours you're going to be getting in total in your palette. And you'll find as well that these will last a long time. What I do absolutely love as well is that in each of the palettes, you do get a little bit of plastic over the top with all of the names listed on there for you, so you know what all of the colours are. £27.20. £32.80 is the price. We're going to have a look at these, and then we will come back with more of your questions as well, because I've seen a few more flying in. Are you moonbeaming or sunbeaming, Sunbeam?
I am sunbeaming today.
Sunbeaming.
Sunbeaming, because when it comes to any form of colouring with certain mediums, you guys know by now there's only one stamp that I love to use, and that is the Vintage Rose. So we're going to go in and let's stamp this one out. Now, Ben, as you were talking about, with these being water-based, what we are going to need is one of our waterproof ink pads. Or this is when you can do heat embossing with your embossing powders. But we're going to go in with our flagstone here. So let's stamp out our stamp here into the middle. It's watercolour card also, as you were explaining. And then we're just going to stamp it out like we would do any stamp onto any form of cardstock. And when it comes to this, with it being white cardstock that I'm using, that is why I'm going to be using the Sunbeam. Also, as you explained, you can absolutely use them both on different cardstock, but your Moonbeam shows up best onto your dark black cardstock. And when I say black, that also goes for navy cardstock, greys cardstock, any deep brown cardstock, deep natural colours. And then your Sunbeam, I keep saying works best. It's not works best, shows best when it comes to your lighter card. It's not that the working of the palettes differ, it's just it shows better, one on dark card, one on light card. There we go, happy with that. Press that down there.
Lovely, look at that.
One more. Do you know what this is also a good stamp to use, Ben? Craft Vault. Violet Studio pens earlier on.
Oh, good idea.
Really, really good stamp to use when it comes to the colouring of it. I did tell you all the way back when we first launched these, this is one I will continue to use for months and years. So make sure you grab hold of it so that you can see if I use it and I inspire you, then you know that you've got it and you can use it too. So we're going to go in with our brush here. Sunbeam, we're going to go in, and then you've even got your acetate with the names of them all. Some people, Ben, will actually stick them into the lid so you can see which one is which. I'm not going to do this. This is the studio set, so I don't want to change anything for it being the studios. So what we can do now is, if we take either your water spritz or your Mr. Spray, and I'm just going to have a look. Let's go in with like your pinky tone, which actually Rose Garden. Let's go in with Rose Garden. And I'm just going to spritz my palette. You can wet your brush and go in that way if you want, but we do recommend that we're going to go in and spritz into the palette first.
Yeah.
Don't worry if you water it down too much, just let it dry and then you can reactivate it. And we're going to go in, and then I'm just going to start to then colour in, and we're just going to then paint this down.
I'm sure I asked you this last time, but I'll ask again. Do you enjoy painting with the paintbrush as much as you enjoy colouring with your pens?
Good question. I'm going to take the word enjoy out of the equation.
Okay. Oh.
And that is because I can't say I enjoy this more. I love colouring.
Yeah.
I love colouring. It's timing that I don't have much time to do this.
Yeah.
You know, I seem to, when it comes to here on Crafters TV, Hobby Maker, any colouring, my demos are mostly orientated to alcohol colouring. So therefore, any prep time at home, Ben, is focused on alcohol colouring.
Okay.
So I don't really get a lot of time to actually do watercolouring, whether it's with the palettes or the aqua pens. So I'm not going to say I enjoy alcohol colouring more, I just don't get enough time to do watercolouring. So look at that.
My word.
Already, look at that from way up high. And then I've gone in with some water there. I've just not completely cleaned my brush, but I've gone in and I'm going to dab some of that excess off, and I'm going to start to pull that colour. You're still going to get that incredible look from the Sunbeam. We're just going to pull that down into here. You can, if you want, if we went in with a little bit of Sunset Meadow, which is more of a darker tone, and then we can go into there. I just need to go in there, pick some of that up, work my way along, just into there, and I'm just going to let that set just for a wee moment or two, and then what I can start to do is just blend that out. So we've got that little bit of darkness towards the top.
Yeah.
Look at that already, just starting to blend in. Let's go back to the Rose Garden here. And then we'll just do another few of the petals, Ben, and we'll do the same. I'll do one of the leaves in green in a moment, so you can start to see how fab that just bursts off the cardstock.
The Ray says, I really want these paints. Grab them tonight because you're getting 30% off. It's a really, really great price on those. Kathy says, I love the paint, the Sunbeam, my favourite. Yeah, if you've got them, let us know whether you're a Sunbeamer or a Moonbeamer. Joyce Lawking says, my last project was a 45th anniversary card for my hubby Bob. I used the Age of Elegance book die. Hi, Kathy Myers, and hi to Colleen. He says, fellow crafters, I've been using my clear sparkle pen a lot of my crafts lately. Love using this. It brings out just a little something extra on my crafts. I'm addicted to using it for some sparkle on my crafts. Just a reminder to use it. A good reminder. I've got 3 questions lined up. Any more? Fire them in. Craig is on fire today, says Wanda. I'm learning so much, thank you. This is why you have such a loyal following.
Thank you, that's really kind of you to say.
Do you want some questions whilst you paint, or do you want to paint and then question?
You know, let's do it. Let's answer some questions while I'm painting.
Okay. Craig, on the last card, says Kathy, with the sprays, did you use a water-based cardstock?
Yes, I did. Because they are essentially, they're water-based, the Shimmer sprays. I used watercolour cards. Same with this one here.
Could you use your multi-purpose if you didn't have any watercolour?
With the shimmer sprays,
yeah,
you could, because I didn't add too much, Ben, that it was saturating the cardstock.
Right.
See, something like this. You could use our white cardstock, but I really am kind of saturating the card.
Yeah.
So I would really, really try and make sure you've got, even if it's a little stash of watercolor card, Ben. But let's say you've ran out, you absolutely have none, you've got our white cardstock. Yes, you could do. You know, you would.
Jay Pressy, what type of glue is best to use when adhering vellum to cardstock?
Well, I'll tell you this, what I'll also say as well, go back to Craftball earlier on today where I talked you through that. I personally would use a wet adhesive.
Yeah.
So it's about, as I explained and also as I showed towards the end of Craftball, it's about hiding the adhesive as well. So you could use our wet glue or tacky glue, which is a good one, and very, very rarely, certainly with our vellums, do you see the adhesive popping through. But if you do have struggles, even with other brands, what to do is hide the adhesive with, you know, a topper, Ben, a topper or a sentiment or something like that. It's just about hiding the adhesive so it's not seen throughout the vellum. But if you go back to earlier on to it today, towards the end of Craftfall, I kind of done a little demo just to show that.
Excellent. And one final question for now on stencils. Aya says, when I use masks or stencils with spray, it seeps under. I've tried stencil glue spray from a local store, but it leaves sticky residue on the card. Do you have spray for stencils, or have you got any other ideas for Aya?
So, exactly that. Your adhesive spray, repositionable spray. If you're of course, I'm going to wax lyrical about ours. If you've not tried it, by the sounds of it, if you've got a store brand one, what I would recommend, Ben, is treat yourself to ours and give that a shot. As far as the excess residue of the adhesive still on your cardstock, it's a bit like glue, Ben. Don't use too much, don't spray too much onto the back. All you do need is a light spray for it to be tacky onto the back, and then when you peel it off, what's going to happen is then it's not going to leave any residue whatsoever, and then you're going to have that perfect application with no seeping underneath.
I think we're up to date on the questions. Brilliant questions tonight, everyone. More, please. We want more.
We do indeed.
More questions. We've still got another, 45 minutes or so, so there's still plenty of time. And anything else that you want to see? Obviously, Craig is just demoing those watercolour palettes now, but anything else you want to ask or see or know, let us know. And, of course, the more comments, the better, because the more you comment, the more chance you've got of winning that stamp set, which we'll give away at the end of the show.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll just finish these last couple of bits, Ben, and then it just goes to show how you can still do the blend, you can still go in with depths of shade if you want to, but go in with your chosen colour, start to blend it out, go in with a little bit of darkness if you want, and then start to blend that out, but we're just going to work our way in, like so. Start to pull down. Let's just do one more petal here.
Once you start, you can't stop, can you? That's the problem.
No, I can't.
I'll just do one more.
I'll just do one more. Just one more. Just one more hobnob, and then I'll put the pack away.
Yeah, step away from the pack.
You're going to come back tomorrow, and I'm going to still be stood here in my Toodles t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Colouring away.
Just one more.
Just one more. Just one more
Just
petal.
one more.
Here we go. So let's just blend that out, and then let's go in with, it was the Sunset Meadow, wasn't it? Work our way in, work into the corners, like so. There we go. I'll just do one more, I'm joking.
One more.
One more. So, looks lovely from up above, even if I do say so myself.
I think that would look better if you did the whole thing.
I would do.
Just finish it off.
So even from up above, look at that shine. But then if I come face on, look at that, Ben. How far?
My
And look,
word.
at first you think, well, Craig, you can't really see that sunset meadow.
Yeah.
But boy,
you can.
Can you see that sunset meadow? So that was Sunset Meadow, Rose Garden, and then it was Eucalyptus Glow, and then Mermaid. There you go.
Incredible. Incredible, right? And you can get both of those pads for $27.20 or $32.80. So if you're like Laird, who says, oh, I really want to get these, tonight is a good night to grab them because you're saving 30%. It should be £50, should be $60, give or take a few pence and cents. So grab it whilst you can. $27.20 or $32.80 is the price on those. Keep the questions coming. We want more in the last half an hour or so of the show. We are going to take a short break. So any requests you want to see, anything else you want Craig to show, anything else you want to ask, now is the time to get those good questions and requests in, and we will come back in just about 4 or 5 minutes' time.
Come in, check my emails, then lay the shows out in the studio, set pack shots up. Then I will get new polls, pick shows, solve any problems that need solving. We deal with other teams where we receive marketing suites, we receive boards, pick samples to send to Hobby Maker, we pick samples to send to QVC. We will take review shows out of the studios, set the new shows up. We do floor manage occasionally, not all the time, making sure that the craft expert presenters have everything at hand that they need. Anything that they haven't got during shows, we will run about and get the products for them. Think on a morning when it's really quiet, I can get more done when there's nobody else in the building. Night owl. Morning. Coffee morning, tea the rest of the day. Savoury. Normally lunchtime. Craft along. Mobile phone. Christina wrap. Barry White. You're my first, my last, my everything. Go home and make the tea.
My day-to-day life is pretty busy in work. Literally, I check my polls, I then check what I've got to demo, I then get ready, and it's just busy from there. I have a meeting with the producer, the director, we get then sort the shows, talk to the presenter, and it depends what side I'm on. I mean, sometimes I'm doing the presenting side, sometimes I'm doing the demonstration side, and I love both. It's actually to work with. I can't say no more than that other than anybody that works here. We are a big family. We're super friendly. I love Ben. I love it when we work together, and I don't mean that I don't love anyone. It's the fact that Ben is the presenter and then I'm demonstrating, and we just have this great rapport. Same with Craig, same with Deb, same with the whole team. So yeah, the best day is just getting to work with the best people in the industry. Oh, a night out. In the morning. Oh, none. I only drink water. Oh, well, I'm cutting out sugar, so it's got to be savoury. Masterclass. Oh, I can't leave the house without my lipstick. Oh, I love a baked potato. I relax, so I literally drive home normally and then I relax.
Welcome back, everybody. Love the watercolour shimmer colour, says Kimberly Fisher. Rhonda says, I have those paints and I'm yet to use them. Get them out, Rhonda. Come on. After that demo, hopefully you're inspired. You've encouraged Jean F. Craig to get the watercolours out. And Hillary's with us saying, I can't comment much. Holly, the collie, is asleep on my knee and snoring. Aww. Pictures. Hello, Shadiah. It says, hello, Lord Ben and Craigle Bagel. I've just woken up. Well, hopefully you had a nice nap. You've just woken up into a masterclass. And we have a question from Evelyn. Falling asleep in class. Yeah, that'd be lines, wouldn't it, back in the day? Or detention. Falling asleep in class, see me afterwards. Has Craig, says Evelyn, played with the pearl powders? Sarah demoed them yesterday on HSM, but did not use water. I thought they had to be set with water.
So, that's a really good question. Now, unfortunately, they're not launching on Friday now. They will be launching next week, I think, with Debbie Fisher. Debbie Fisher is going to be launching them next week. I will be launching them on Hobbymaker in the UK next week as well. I think it's round about Wednesday. So you get lots of ideas and inspiration. So, pearl powders, it's one of those things where you don't have to set them. However, what I'll certainly show you next week when I'm on Hobbymaker, I'm sure Debbie will as well, what we'd recommend is you can set them with water. Now, my thing with that is if you spritz them with water, they're water-based, sometimes, Ben, they can disperse.
Yeah.
So what you're going to want to do, and maybe you'll see other legends out there in the industry, Tim Holtz and that will say, a very, very inexpensive hairspray. The cheapest of cheap hairspray. Do what you do with your pearl powders and then give it a light spray. I'll show you again next week when I'm on Hobbymaker and in future shows here on Crafters TV. Do what you do, light spray with the cheapest of hairspray, and then that's going to set it. If you don't do that, Ben, if you do what you do with the pearl powders, and if you push your hand over them, it's going to smudge. Whereas you go a light spray, hairspray, it's set. So you don't have to do it, but if you don't want them to smudge, then go in with a light hairspray. Water, I find if I do that, some people do that, but when I do it, it kind of disperses the powders because they're water-based. But between Debbie here next week, me on Hobbymaker next week, we'll talk you all the way through that. But boy, I had a blast. Kind of disappointed they're not launching now on Friday, but at least I get them next week on Hobbymaker. They're so much fun. And what I've been doing, there's many of what I've been doing today, Ben, you're going to be able to use next week's launch of the pearl powders.
I know we're going to have a look at the tricolour aquas next, but I don't know if we can towards the end of the show. And I asked this because we had a really good collection on earlier, or a taster collection of some of our ink pads. Isabel's just asking, maybe we can do this after. Can Craig explain the differences between the ink pads that are on the website? We can certainly talk around that in a minute. Should we do that? Should we do that after these? Yeah?
Yeah, of course you can.
If you go back to, what was it earlier? Craft Vault, wasn't it? We had a taster collection on there, 10 ink pads, where we had the shimmer in the gold and the silver, 2 of each of those. We had 2 of the quick dries, 2 of the opaques and 2 of the water reactives, so we can certainly go through those for you, no problem at all. We did want to have a look at the tricolour aquas though, because these have been very, very busy. £24 or $36 for these if you're platinum. It is 5 sets of pens with 3 pens in each, so you think to yourself, okay, well, 15 pens. Well, it is, however, that one does not want to behave. However, it's much more than that, because in each pen you've got 3 colours, so you're actually getting 9 colours per set, 9, 18, 27, 36, 45 colours you're going to be getting across the sets of aqua markers. And then when you think to yourself, but once you start adding your water to these, you can then create all the different gradients of colour within those 45 colours. Plus, if you then start mixing the colours around and create your own palettes, I mean, how many colours have you actually got here across this set of tricolour pens? Very quickly, because Craig is going to demo, we've got 2 sets of our kind of standard tricolour aquas, if you like, in the colour basics and also your floral meadow. If I flip those around, you can see all the colours that you're going to be getting within those. Also in this set, we've got you specific pens from specific collections. So the Enchanted Ocean, not new colours, but a new configuration of colours that were brought in specifically to match with the papers within those particular ranges. So your Enchanted Ocean, and then the Kingfisher there as well for you. And then last but by no means least, if you are buying the Draw the Line set, those are the pens that you'll get within the Draw the Lines from Shimmer, which includes your definition line, accent line, and then your mixing pen in there too. So it is a big set of aqua markers. Any questions that you've got on tricolour aquas, again, fire those in. Isabel, we'll tackle yours on ink pads in just a second. I'm going over there because he needs my pens.
I do indeed.
Which ones do you want?
Let's go for maybe 3 that blend really well together. So let's go. We'll go with the printer ones.
Yeah?
I'm well fascinated with the printer pens.
That's what she's, yeah, that one there.
Yeah. The things you learn.
I know.
Yeah, so we're going to use the ones that are from the Draw the Line.
Yeah.
And as Ben was explaining earlier, the mixing pen. So it's your yellow, aquamarine and magenta. So your home printer, maybe lots of you are already like, yeah, Craig, we knew that.
But I didn't until Sheena said about a month ago.
I never twigged until you said today.
It's the colours of your printer.
The 3 colours that will, and this word's annoying me, Ben, because it seems to be used everywhere at the moment, but this will literally...
Oh, yeah, literally.
Give you every single colour possible you will ever need. Think about your printer. These are the 3 colours, and then therefore it will print out any colour. My mind was blown, literally. Now we need to stop.
Well, it wasn't
that.
literally.
Not literally, no. Not literally. I think that's what's annoying me as well. People will use it.
Yeah.
Did you say that as well?
What?
Someone else said it was annoying. Some people use the word literally when they've not literally.
Well, no, I know. I said that a lot because I used to work. Do you know I used to work in radio?
Did you?
Yeah, and I used to work with this guy who I won't name him. He did the show after me on one radio station, and when he was doing the weather report, if it was a really rainy day, he would say, "It's literally raining cats and dogs." And I was like, I ran to the window to look outside. He was like, "Oh no, it isn't. It's not literally raining cats and dogs." So yeah, literally.
No.
What was he talking about? Literally.
Do you know the other word? And my friends, mostly my friends that are girls back home that've got children, seem to be using it a lot now.
Yeah.
Wholesome. Oh, it's been a wholesome weekend with the kids.
How wholesome, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know why that.
My Laura uses that word quite a lot.
Does she?
Like she'll describe, like she'll watch, like last night she was watching, do you ever watch the Yorkshire Vet on Channel 5?
Oh, yeah.
And she'll go, "Oh, it's so wholesome."
Yeah.
Such a wholesome show, you know.
And I don't know why it irks me when my friends say
Yeah.
that or write it. I'm like, wholesome. You've had a lovely weekend.
Yeah.
Wholesome.
It's been wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, wholesome and literally at the moment are my 2 shudder of a word. Right, let's go in. So we're going in with our mixing pens here. And we're just going to go back and then we're going to do a little bit of a wash. Now I'm going to go back and refer you to our craft clubs, Ben, because UK and US had the opportunity to buy the second craft club, which was all about the tricolour aquas. So you'll get lots of other ideas and inspiration. Even if you didn't buy it, you can still view the tutorials across on our Crafters Companion YouTube channel. So go back and have a look. And what I'm doing, I'm just cleaning off that brush there, and we're going to go in, and then we're just going to then blend them out. I'm going to go a little bit more heavier handed, but I'm not putting my pen into the water because I don't want the water to then be sucked up into the nib and then potentially damage my pen by saturating it. So going to go in, blend these 3 to colour, oh gosh, me and my words tonight. Blend these 3 pens and their colour. Let's take a little bit of kitchen roll and then let's just dab that off, tiny bit of water, and then I'm going to blend them out. So we're going to go in with our printer pens, as I am now going to be calling them. So I'm just going to then blend that out. So we've got that little bit of a wash. Now I'm going to let that set itself just for a moment, because I'm going to do a technique that I don't do a lot, but I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
So we're just going to let that set for a moment. What I've already done here, Ben, watercolour card, waterproof ink pad, and we're just going to go in and I'm going to show you how you can watercolour with them.
Excellent.
Which essentially it's the same way as how I've used the Sunbeam palettes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. The only difference, instead of going from the palette, these ones I'm going to go from my glass mat.
Glass mat, yeah.
So just going to go in with the pens from the Enchanted Ocean, and then you'll start to see how I'm going to colour with them.
Hilary has just said, Craig, this is literally wholesome and lush.
Oh.
Remember the time you said the B word
Yeah.
for Holly Collie? I think she's getting you back. Yeah. Is she still snoring, Hilary? Oh, you took the picture of her awake.
Oh, that's a shame, because if she was still sleeping, I was going to shout the word now. Get my own back. Although, to be fair, you're getting your own back on me, so...
Suzanne says, that annoys my son when people say literally when something isn't literal. I'm trying to think of other words as well that are annoying. Like is one, but I feel like I say that a lot more now because a lot of... But I won't say... I'll say like at the end of a sentence because have you noticed everyone up here says that? They'll say like, there you go, done it. They'll say, are you going to the shop like?
Why, aye, man.
What are you having for dinner like? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just part and parcel of living up here, I think, really.
I think what it is as well is if I'm on TikTok and I'm flicking through, and a lot of the young influencers, they use literally a lot. It's like, gosh, how many times are you going to say that within one story?
It's a filler word, isn't it? That's what it is,
isn't it?
It's a filler word.
Yeah, it is. We all have filler words, you know, and certainly doing the job that we do,
You need them sometimes.
we get comfortable with set words,
Yeah.
filler words, but it's when they're not necessarily used in the right way.
Literally.
Quite literally, yeah. They're not used in a wholesome way.
No. This is lush.
So it's starting to come together. Going in with a little bit of that darkness from that same pen. So this one, Ocean Breeze from the Enchanted Ocean. And just starting to then pull that colour out. I mean, look at that, just from up above. That's got no sparkle or anything in it. It's not from the sunbeam or moonbeam. This is our tricolour aquas. So we can then go in again by picking up. You can, if you want, Ben, I was about to say I very rarely do this. I don't really ever do this, and that is go direct to my watercolour card with my pen and then draw it out. I prefer to go to my glass mat or a craft mat or a tile, something like that.
Does that just give you a different effect, or are there pros and cons to doing that? I mean, do you know of people that, or maybe you're watching and you prefer to take your pen straight to the card stock? Is it easier to do the way you're doing it?
I find for me, I get more control of darkness and lightness. If you go direct with the pen, I'll show you that just in a minute, you get a really, really strong, natural line of colour. And yes, you can blend it out, but sometimes you can't blend it out to its full ability. Sometimes you're left with a little bit too much of a harsher, dark line. So I always prefer to go in from my craft mat, and then of course I'm in full control. If I want it darker, I can go back and add more. If I want to lighten it, I can then go along and then do exactly that, lighten it. So what I mean by that is let's go in with the same pen, the magenta. So we can go in. First of all, what I'm going to do, Ben, this is just, these are great pens. You don't have to blend with them. If you don't want to blend, do watercolouring with them.
Just colour with them.
You don't have to. Good for the kiddies, because they're water-based, so then therefore the wash out. So if you want to go in and just use that as a natural form of colouring with a pen, you can do that. And if you were doing that, I would do it onto my smooth cardstock. So let's colour that in. So you can go direct onto the actual card itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go. If I was to go all the way around with the pen direct onto the cardstock, so you're just working your way around, then start to pull that colour out, which you can absolutely do. But if I go in now, notice, if I really try and pull that out, Ben, you can see I'm getting a blend of colour, but it's a lot more harsher, it's a lot more stronger. So I would then now have to keep going back with more colour from a glass mat to blend that out.
Yeah.
Whereas if I go direct, You can see there. Now, don't get me wrong, that looks nice, but you've just got that definition where you've got that harsh line, that light little blend, but then you've got that darkness around. I personally prefer to go in and then just draw the colour out. What I wanted to do very quickly, Ben, before we move on,
Yes.
is let's take my heat tool here. I would make sure this is fully dried, but let's go in and then I'm just going to anchor that down with my discs here. Let's take that same stamp.
Just whilst you're on to
Yeah.
that, Jane Austen is saying, what is the name of that stamp again?
So the name of this stamp,
Yeah.
it is the Rose Bouquet.
Yes.
Rose Bouquet, and this is the one that I go to time and time again when it comes to showing the best way to colour and blend.
Yeah.
I just think it's a beautiful stamp to colour and blend with. So I'm going to ink up watercolour ink pad once again, Ben. Now, you could stamp first and then do a wash afterwards. You know, horses for courses. Either way, it's entirely up to you. But what I like to do is faux bleach. So if I take the stamp, there we go, that will be fine. Let's take a little bit of blue roll, kitchen roll, microfiber cloth, something like that. And then let's take your water. And then I'm going to dab that off. And then what I'm going to start to do, Ben, is I'm going to start to colour with the water.
Yeah.
Like so.
And
it's exactly the same as when you spritz with water. The longer you leave it, the more it's going to lift. But if I even lift that off now, look at that.
Yeah.
You're starting to pull that colour off. So I'll leave that just a little bit longer so we can move on to that next one. And then you can go over the section a good few times to keep lifting that colour. And then the more you do that, the more it starts to get lighter and lighter and lighter. You can then go into there.
What brushes have you been using as well, Hillary's asking?
So far, I've just been using the number 8, which is from
It's our brushes, isn't it?
our paintbrush sets, yeah. So it's from that one. That's the one that I've been using. Well, I've been using number 8 the whole time. Actually, I tell a lie. I did use as well that open one, didn't I?
Yeah.
The 3/4 of an inch. I'd done that when I'd done the wash of this background. But let's go in here. Don't be scared to put a lot of water. It is watercolour card. So we'll just let that do its thing just a little bit longer and you get the gist of it.
Yeah.
But it's such a great technique. Look at that.
That's incredible. Love it.
How cool is that? So smart. And you can then keep going. I would add another couple of layers and keep going and going and going.
Fantastic demos. Chirina says, so grateful for these tips. I have these pens and I've not had the success I wanted, but I am now anxious to try your expert tips. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Colleen says, love the idea about more control over the colouring and painting. Never thought about the control issues, Craig, but it is so true, I think. And Elaine says, I find that I get more blending when using the glass mat direct to card. I can't pull the colour out fast enough to blend, and that's a really good point.
Exactly.
Thank you for all the comments coming through. I think we're up to date with the questions, actually. Hillary says, Holly is awake now as I laughed when Ben read out my comment. Lisa P says, not pronouncing the T in button or mountain annoys me so much. Button.
Mutton.
Mountain. Yeah.
Is it like mutton as well? Mutton.
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 Button. Mountain. And Rose says, people say cool, where I would say, that's nice.
That's nice.
Producer Johnny says cool quite a lot, because he's a cool dude. We are going to have a short break. When we come back, we are going to, who was it? Come on, Ben. It was Isabel. For Isabel, we're going to have a look at some of our ink pads for you so we can explain the differences between them. As we said earlier on Craft Vault, we had a really nice taster bundle, which we'll show you the deal of in just a few moments' time. But for those of you that do worry about ink pads, not quite sure which one you're supposed to use where, we'll come back and do that. And last chance saloon to ask a question, last chance saloon to get a request in, because I would think in the next probably 7 or 8 minutes we'll be finding out who tonight's winner is to win that stamp set from the Vintage Rose collection. But we'll meet you back here in 4 minutes. Cinema.
When I'm working, it's quite busy because I have to get up really early to come into work if I'm going to be travelling from London. But otherwise, I'm quite lazy. Spend a lot of time in. Best part of my day is when we come in and I get to see everybody. I really enjoy being up here. It's really nice to see all my friends, and this is my happy place. I do like to see everyone, and also, of course, if Christina's in, I'm getting my breakfast from Christina before I start the day. Early riser without a doubt, never a night owl. I'm in bed at 9:30. Bath at night, shower in the morning. I'm very clean. Tea, the colour of He-Man. Both. I like pancakes with bacon and maple syrup. Craft along because there's always a softer side to craft along. My phone, my life is my phone. Yeah, the phone and the dog, unless I'm coming up here and I can't bring the dog in. My favourite lunch isn't lunch. My favourite lunch is afternoon tea. That's what I'd like. Lots of sandwiches, some scones, or scones, some cream and jam, and some little cakes. But I couldn't have it every day because I'd be the size of a house. Oh, that changes with the moment. My favourite song at the moment is Natasha Bedingfield, Unwritten. Or make myself a cup of tea and go and have a bath.
Day to day looks on a normal day when I'm working from home. Get up, breakfast, quick phone call with my daughter, and then I'm up in the craft room and I spend all my time in the craft room. If it's spending a day with the grandkids, that's it. That's my best part of it, just spending time with family and those gorgeous little grandkids of mine. The best day when I'm at work is when I go on air, because I absolutely love it. I prefer a shower in the morning. I feel fresher. I feel that I can tackle my day. However, depending on how that day's been, I also would have a double shower, so I'd have one in the morning and one at night too. Absolutely, 100% coffee. Will always be coffee, and flavoured coffee is my favourite at the moment. There are a full English breakfast, a full works. The tomatoes, the bacon, the sausage, and everything else that goes with a traditional English breakfast. Craft along every day of the week. I absolutely love going through the stages from the start of a project to the end of a project. So craft along is definitely my favourite choice. I can't leave without my lipstick. It's a given thing. I once didn't have a lipstick on me, and Leanne helped me out that day. Kick off the shoes, sit down for a couple of minutes, just gather my thoughts, and then grab my tea.
Welcome back, everybody. Love all the tips that Craig has shared, says Colleen. The background, says Jane, reminds me of rainbow ink pads and a brayer. We're going to look at ink pads next, actually, because I can see a few questions coming in. This is our ink pad taster selection that we had for you earlier on today on Craft Vault. So you've got two ink pads from 5 different ranges. 2 ink pads from your water reactive, 2 ink pads from your quick dry, 2 ink pads from your opaque pigment inks, and then you've also got 2 from our pearlescent shimmer ink pads and 2 from the gold shimmer ink pads. So 10 in total, 23.96. It works out if you're platinum, £2.39 per pad, or $3.59 when they should be $5.99 or $8.99. So a great opportunity to pick these up at a stunner of a price. But let's have a look at them. I mean, if we took, I know we have other ink pads within the, he's still going, Craig! Well, I know we have other ink pads within the range, but if we take those 5 first off that we've just mentioned, can you, for Isabel and others commenting, tell us where we are using which ones where and when?
Yeah, of course I can. What were the ones you said there? No, I'm joking. So yeah, just all the way through that VT, I've just carried on going. I mean, look at that. How fab is that?
Amazing, that.
And that is all that I'm doing is painting with water and then picking it up. But yeah, let's go into our ink pads. Now, what I've done here, Ben, you could do with many of the ink pads. So really the only ones you wouldn't really be able to do it with is the quick dry. You could do it with the pigment, but you'd really need to start to then pick the colour up. So your water reactor or your water-based ink pads, Ben, you can do the washes if you want to.
Yeah.
You can then do what I'm doing here with the full bleaching if you want to. You can then start to, of course, blend out. So do what I've done with the tricolours, just pop the actual ink pads that are water-based down on the side. You can then go in with your brush with your ink pad and water and then start to tap. So you've got that. So you've got all of these ways that you can still use your ink pads. But we do have our water reactive, we've got our pigment, and then we've also got our quick dry. I just happened to take the fuchsia of all of them.
Okay.
What were the other two, Ben?
It was the pearlescent shimmer with the gold and silver.
Got you, perfect. So I've just grabbed these ones here. So, quick dry. These are, and I tell you what, let's, just so that you're not looking at that stamp again, let's go in with one of Sheena's just to show you. Now for me, I had never experienced a form of quick dry ink pad until I joined the company and got these quick dry.
Okay.
So depending on which hand you use the most when it comes to drawing or colouring, sometimes certainly if you're going to be maybe more of a left hand, sometimes you can then start to smear, of course. So what we're going to do is if I just bring in some white cardstock, I'm going to go in with a stamp here. I'm going to stamp this one out. Now, the only thing I need to make sure is if it starts to look dirty on my cardstock, it's because I've got ink on my finger, not because it's from the stamp. So if I've just put my finger in water there just to make sure it's cleaned. So let's go in now. So I've got my stamp. So this is our quick dry. Quick dry fuchsia will stain your stamp. So as long as it's clean and the ink's off, it's going to be...
That's super quick.
How quick is that? Could literally, I was about to say literally set my finger on fire. Not literally. Not literally. Let's then just show you as well then, Ben, is if we just make sure... ideally, Ben, I would use your stamp cleaner. But if we use our stamp cleaner, or just make sure that that ink is completely off. I just want to make sure that we've got all that ink off. Let's go in with a yellow, and let's just move that one up. Crisp, clean yellow. No fuchsia, even although it stained your stamp. So don't worry, as long as the ink is off. But that is how quick, look, nothing is coming through onto that card when it comes to the ink. That is how quick that it is.
Should be called super quick dry.
Super quick dry. So for these, there's lots and lots and lots of techniques, Ben, with your ink pads. I'm going to keep them in the form of what they were initially brought out for. Quick dry, that form of quick dry of the stamps. If you're doing your sentiments, images, you can't blend with them because they're too quick, of course. So use them to then, of course, stamp with your sentiments or your silhouettes or layering stencils, that sort of things. They're a good one for. Water reactive, initially, brought out, Ben, for you to do the blend. So I'm going to go along, I'm going to go back to my blending tool.
Yeah.
And the reason being, blending tools are the one that most people tend to struggle with. I don't want to make it easy by going in with our brush. So what we're going to do is blending tools. I'm going to go in, ink up. I like to go into my glass mat first, and I like to call it take a run and jump.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that, blend on the glass mat and take a run onto my cardstock.
Okay.
So we're going to keep inking up, and then we're going to then blend our ink in together. And then what we can then also do, if I quickly grab, let's even go in with water reactive honey pot. Let's do another little bit here. Let's see to hand, have I got a yellow? No, so I'll go with the closest thing. Just going to make sure that, well, it's close to the honey pot, so that'll do. Blend these in together.
Yeah.
So I briefly explained about the quick dry and what you're going to be able to use these for in that form of quick drying. Our water reactives are brought out for us to start to blend. So we can then start to blend colours together. So we can get a smooth blend by doing that run and jump from our glass mat onto our card. But being water reactive, that is because we can come along with things like our water spritz, and then we can then start to spritz with water, and then that water will start to lift up the colour.
Yeah.
So this is where you can do exactly what I was doing beforehand when it comes to colouring. I don't know what I've done with it now, but where I was starting to lift that colour up, here we go. You can do that with your water reactives as well. If I take a bit of kitchen roll and then start to dab that excess off, let's spritz just a little bit more with larger puddles.
Okay.
And then that will lift the colour. Then when it comes to your pigment, these are going to work really well. Going with your finger dauber, these are great for layering colour on top of colour if you're going to be using things like layering stencils.
Yeah.
But because these are pigment, they stay open longer, which means they essentially stay wet longer, which means you can then sprinkle all your embossing powders. So get yourself a selection of pigment ink pads, and then all you need is a clear embossing powder, and you will have every coloured embossing powder that you need, because the colour is coming from, of course, that pigment. You can still blend with them as well, water-based as well, so you can do colouring and things like that. But if I dab that colour off there, can you start to see that it's starting to pull that colour off?
Yeah.
And then these two that you had, exactly that same form, Ben, as the pigment. The only difference, that gives you a pearlescent look, and that gives you pearlescent look, but with a shimmer of gold in there as well.
Brilliantly described and done in just a couple of minutes or so. One final question, just before we announce the winner of the stamps. Shannon says, how do you clean your stamping platform when there's ink still on it?
So if a wipe, if that will then take off your water reactive, your pigment, things like that. If not, then a baby wipe. If you've not got that, then of course, if you've got your stick away, if you've not got stick away, if you've still got hand sanitizer left over, which many of us do, or, you know, people laugh at this, but it's true, you can use it, not that you would want to, you'd rather drink it, of course, drink responsibly, but things like vodka, something like that. You know, so if you've got in it, someone's brought around an inexpensive bottle of vodka or something like that, 'cause it's a form of the hand sanitizer gel, so that will work. So you've got a few options there.
What a day. Thank you, everybody. Yes, don't drink and craft. craft and drink responsibly. Thank you for all the comments as well. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. I feel like you have. Craig has done some amazing demos, some amazing explanations, some amazing hints and tips for you. The winner of our stamp set, congratulations, little bear. You are the winner. Message us CTV prizes at crafterscompanion.co.uk and we will get that sent out to you. What a day. We're back again tomorrow, me and Craig. We have got a craft along in the morning.
We do.
And then it's cartload, isn't it, tomorrow night?
Cartload, yeah, Thursday. Favourite show of mine, of course, being that cartload. But yeah, we've got the partial emboss and folder craft along. If the details aren't up on Crafters TV page yet, there will be either later tonight or tomorrow morning. And also, as we go into the show, we'll give you the list as well.
It's been a really fun day. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching. Thank you for all the questions tonight. We asked for the interactivity, and you gave us the interactivity in your droves. So thank you so much for that. And like we said, tomorrow, craft along and then cartload. There's some brilliant deals coming your way on cartload tomorrow, so do make sure you join us tomorrow night live at 5. And if you want to take part in that craft along, as Craig said, just keep an eye on the socials so you can get all your bits and pieces together. But check out the deals from today. It's been a fantastic day. Loads of great deals. Still loads over on the website for you as well, as far as deals are concerned. Still discounts on paper pads, and there was something else today which has now just skipped my memory, but have a look on the website. It's all there for you. Thank you so much to Jan on the show tonight. Thank you to Craig. Thank you to Jamie. Thank you to Johnny. Thank you also to Jake. And thank you to you for watching. We will see you tomorrow and we'll do it all over again. Until then,
Toodles.